Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for finding time and visiting today's Facebook Live Talk. My name is Tracy, and I am dietitian at Assunta Hospital. It's my pleasure to be the moderator of today. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the talk, please type them into the comment box below the live video. Your question will be answered during Q&A session at the end of the talk. Besides, don't forget to like and share this live video to your friends and families so that they can benefit from this live talk as well. So nowadays, working from home has become a new norm, and I do believe most of us experience it since the emergence of pandemic. Therefore, our main topic today is how to stay healthy while working from home. Before the talk begins, I would like to introduce the presenter today, Dr. Alishna, our resident medical officer at the Health Screening Unit. Dr. Alishna is largely involved in the field of primary preventive healthcare for more than 5 years because she is a true believer that prevention is always better than cure. All right, without further ado, let us welcome the presenter today, Dr. Alishna, to share how to maintain a good health while staying at home. Good afternoon, Dr. Alishna. The floor is yours.
A very good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Tracy, for your kind introduction. So I'll begin my talk for today entitled How to Stay Healthy While Working from Home. Okay. Working from home, as mentioned by Tracy earlier, it has become a new norm ever since the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic in early 2020. Okay. It's a safety measure that's being practiced by most corporate sectors to reduce the spread of the virus. However, it comes with many challenges. Okay, fellow workers may face a number of challenges impacting their physical and mental health during this time. Okay, my topic for today will be mainly focusing on the little do's and don'ts, benefits and disadvantages of um, of various methods that I will be elaborating shortly. Okay, during work from home, a number of employees, based on a research done in the UK in the early times of the pandemic, sometime in early 2020, okay, a particular company actually studied their employees and found a number of them reporting that while working from home, they reported having less exercise, being less active. They also reported of being in unhealthy eating habits, frequently even overeating. A lot of them actually suffered from musculoskeletal pains, namely neck pains, shoulder pains, experienced poor sleep as well during this time. Okay, so the poor sleep was predominantly due to um, working hours, long irregular working hours. Okay. As a result of all this, many actually became more stressed than usual, suffered worries about job security, about various financial situations, about the virus itself. So a lot of them actually landed with anxiety, depression, and loneliness as well. Okay, just a recap on the death rates due to the causes of death in our country back in the year 2014. Okay, the trend is similar even in the 2020s as well. So more than 50 to 60% was because of heart disease and cancers. Okay, so as we all know, all these conditions are largely attributed due to various lifestyle habits, okay, overeating, lack of exercise over the years. So it's time is of essence. It's always essential that you lead a healthy lifestyle. Okay, another reminder about the obesity or overweight rates in our country. Our country is leading among other Southeast Asian countries, as you can see here. Okay, out of every 5 Malaysians, 2 or 3 of them are actually said to be obese. So we can't afford to stay idle, sedentary, indulge in unhealthy eating habits during this time. Okay, I'll move on to my current next tips of staying healthy during this time. Okay, so the key thing would be healthy eating. A lot of us, when we work from home, we may tend to eat quick snacks, instant foods, canned foods, which are much quicker to prepare. So it's always a good option to actually prepare your meals in advance. Plan your meals ahead. Do your shopping, your grocery shopping over the weekend. You know what is stocked up in your fridge for the week, and plan your meals in advance, as I said. Okay, there's a tendency for one to actually be on your laptop or your online Zoom meetings without realizing that you have actually skipped your lunch, your tea, or even uh, goes up to dinner. So it's always remember, please start off your day with your breakfast. Do not skip your meals. Set timers on your phone if need be to remind you that you need to get up to have your meal on time. Okay, so the image here is actually showing someone who seems to be working at a laptop with all her food at the same area. Again, not a good idea to make your workstation also a place where you eat. The other thing that we are looking at, the food itself. Okay, so there seems to be sweets, there seems to be a lot of chips, and probably a fizzy drink there. Okay, so all these are rather unhealthy eating options. As you can see, their sodium sugar content tends to be much higher as well. Okay, so how do you ensure that you actually have a healthy meal ahead for the entire week planned out? Okay, so what are the things you need to look at before actually planning out your meals accordingly? Okay, focus on a balanced and nutritious food. Avoid quick junk food. Okay, so avoid burgers. The second picture actually shows a whole load of junk food, being chips, fries, sweets, burgers, and all. Okay, a lot of these are actually unhealthy food options, so you don't want to just focus on this. Make yourself full with all this unnutritious food itself. Okay, make sure you actually have enough amount of water being taken daily. Limit your intake of coffee, tea. Okay, set up a workstation, ideally away from your kitchen or your fridge. This is to avoid you from keep going to the fridge every now and then. Avoiding alcohol and smoking as well. Okay, so this is just an image of someone who's actually stocked up their fridge with rather healthy food options, you see. So most of it is consisting of water, a can or two of milk, some juice, mainly fresh fruits and vegetables. Regarding the portioning, okay, so for example, during lunch, um, portioning should include half your plate of mainly vegetables and fruits, another quarter of whole grains. Okay, so brown rice, brown bread are healthier options compared to white rice, and another quarter being healthy protein options. So healthy protein refers to fish, poultry without skin, or lean meat. Okay, and of course, make sure the sugar, salt content is kept a bit low, and also make sure there's adequate hydration as well. Okay, also the next topic for today is to make sure one exercises and stay active throughout this time. Okay, so sedentary lifestyle, meaning just sitting around or lying down throughout the day with no physical activity. Okay, this can be quite detrimental. It can be a risk factor for a number of conditions, be it heart disease, hypertension, diabetes. Okay, and also remember, someone with underlying comorbids or being overweight can be a risk factor for faring poorly if infected with COVID-19. Okay, according to survey done in America, actually Americans actually spend about 7 to 8 hours per day being sedentary. Okay, so this accounts for about 50% or more of the times when they are awake. Okay, so I think the trend among Asians is also quite similar. So it can be more challenging to get up and exercise or be active during this time of work from home, okay, or during lockdowns where um, chances of going out, doing outdoor activities is very much limited. Okay. However, it's not an excuse. Okay, so just because gyms are closed, outdoor activities are restricted, and you're no longer able to work out with your friends, this does not mean that you should stay idle with no exercise at all. So I'm just going to highlight on what you can do to overcome this in my next few slides. Okay, what is the benefits of exercise? I'm sure all of you all know, but just a recap about it. It not only prevents you from gaining weight, it also prevents a lot of chronic diseases that come along with being overweight or being sedentary, okay, namely heart disease and so on. A lot of cancers are also partly attributed to the lack of exercise over the years. Okay, also remember exercise is important uh, for people at any age group. It can help prevent osteoporosis later on in life. Okay, in terms of short-term benefits, it helps one to sleep better, less anxiety, and be more focused at their work. Okay, so what are the forms of exercise and how do you stay active during these challenging times? Okay, you can do a lot of home-based physical activity. Okay, so try and start off your day with some form of physical activity. Arrange an hour at least either before or after work to indulge in some form of exercise. Okay, don't forget that your household chores of cleaning, tidying up your house is also a way to stay active. Okay, during your work hours, please do not stay seated on your PCs for prolonged hours. Always remember to take breaks every hour, preferably around 5 minutes to 10 minutes at the most. Get up, walk around your house, do some stretching exercises, or at least even climb up and down your stairs on a regular basis. This would all contribute to staying active. Okay, so how do you stay active? As I mentioned earlier, please set a time either before or after work for some form of exercise. You may want to spend some time outside in your garden with nature. Do remember exposure to vitamin D from the sun is a good source of vitamin D for your bone health. Okay, do organize online platforms, exercise together via various platforms with your colleagues, your friends, your workmates. Okay, get up every hour during your work time to do some form of stretching. Okay, and you may also please remember not having enough equipment for exercise is definitely not an excuse. Most of home-based exercise can just be done with a simple mat, sneakers. You don't really need any sophisticated equipment. Okay, so this is what I just illustrated earlier. No specific equipment is needed. Okay, most of the time. There are also various online apps that can be used to assist you to exercise. Okay, most of it are actually free, and you can also still have the option of exercising in groups, but this time using either FaceTime, Skype, and so on and so forth. Okay. Okay, please remember although you're not going out, you're staying at home working all day, physical activity may be limited, you still need to get enough water. Okay, so recommended uh, drinking of at least 2 to 2.5 liters of water per day. Okay, it's not necessarily just plain water. Your source of water can be from other form of drinks, non-alcoholic beverages, which includes coffee, tea, gassy drinks. But please remember, all these are relatively unhealthy choices. So just stick to water as much as possible. Some fruits and vegetables are also a good source of water. So as you can see in the picture, fruits like strawberries, watermelons, cucumbers, they are all actually have a very high content of water and can be a source of hydration for you, in addition to fiber, of course. Okay, so just in comparison to a soft fizzy drink versus water, the key thing is a fizzy drink has a relatively high sugar content of approximately 33 grams in one tin. Okay, and plain water, of course, has no added sugar, nothing whatsoever. Okay, these sugars can actually cause one to put on weight in the long run, predisposed to diabetes and other diseases as well. Okay, and for someone who's already got diabetes, certainly a no-no, because these are going to cause their sugar levels to be further deranged. Okay, so always stick to water being a healthy option. If you decide to take coffee or tea, I'll be going through that shortly. Limit your intake. Okay, so what are the benefits of water? Staying hydrated. It's essential to stay hydrated for multiple reasons. It actually helps to remove the toxins from your blood, cushions your joints, fuels your muscles, and increases performance. In a way, it strengthens your immune system for skin hydration, promotes weight loss indirectly, and as I mentioned earlier, boosting your performance as well. Okay. So my next topic for today would be caffeine. Again, the idea is to limit caffeine intake. Do not down yourself with um, uh, never-ending cups of coffee. I'll be talking about it on safe consumption methods and so on. Okay, so caffeine is actually a stimulant, a CNS, central nervous system stimulant. Okay, a lot of us tend to down a lot of coffee, more than 3-4 cups a day, thinking that is the only way of keeping awake, being alert. It is not so, because I'm going to tell you about the toxic effects, especially when it's consumed in high amounts. Okay, so the acceptable dose for adults is actually 400 milligram or less per day. Okay, so in children, as you can see, it varies according to the age group, and the dosage is much less in children. Okay, in pregnant women, the recommended dose for caffeine intake is not more than 200 milligrams per kg. Okay, so there are reports that overconsumption of caffeine during pregnancy has led to miscarriages and even low birth weight babies. Okay, so another thing to remember is caffeine does not solely come from coffee and tea. Chocolates, hot chocolate drinks, for example, green tea, cola, fizzy drinks, energy drinks like Red Bull, and so on and so forth does also contain caffeine. Okay, so this is just showing you the picture of various drinks in a cup and their caffeine content accordingly. So obviously, decaffeinated coffee, green tea are a bit more healthier options where their caffeine content is relatively less. Okay, and if you're talking about coffee, a cup of brewed coffee is equivalent to 95 milligrams of caffeine. Okay, so this is showing you that among the different forms of coffee available, their caffeine content can differ as well. Okay, so again, example, espresso cappuccino has 75 milligrams in a cup, compared to, if you're talking about a flat white coffee, is almost double the amount. Okay, also, why is this so? The caffeine content may vary according to the type of coffee and also the method of brewing. Okay, so sorry, I think I just missed out on a slide earlier. What are the toxic effects of coffee? I'll just go through it roughly. It can cause um, numerous effects on various systems in our body. Okay, so it can cause transient palpitations. So especially so in someone with underlying heart condition, arrhythmia, for example, it can worsen their condition. It can trigger headaches, feel unable to sleep, anxiety, because caffeine, please remember, it's also a diuretic. It can cause frequent urination and at times even cause dehydration. Okay, one may feel energetic initially, but subsequently it can actually cause you to feel more tired than usual. So the other tips of staying healthy while working from home includes setting up a designated area in the house as a home office, take regular breaks in between your work, and set boundaries as well. So when I say set up a home office, do not make your dining, your kitchen area or your bedroom a place for you to do your work. Try as far as possible to set up a designated area which is ergonomically sound. When I say that, make sure you have a proper office chair as far as possible, a desk of a certain height, which I would be elaborating shortly. Okay, take breaks every hour as far as possible. Similar to what I said, it also helps you to stay active. Okay, set up a proper work schedule, taking into account your meal times, your start and stop times as well. Okay, so unless you have a special task to work on, you have to finish it that night, for example, you actually go over your time. If not, try to fix your timing so that you have time for your other activities, be it exercise, family time, and so on. Okay, so this is an example of a workstation whereby you can see the table is of a certain height, the chair has a special lumbar support, preventing long-term back pains in someone. Okay. The next thing would be the height of the monitor being about eye level. So all this helps with ergonomics, maintaining a proper posture, preventing pain and long-term suffering. My next topic would be of staying healthy would be ensuring that you spend some time to make personal connections. Okay, so although going out, having a meal together, having coffee in a cafe is not an option at this point in time, online platforms are still available for you to stay closely connected, be it with family and friends. Okay, in the home vicinity, working from home actually gives you more time to spend with family. Use your times after work to have meals together, watch a program together, or even exercise together. So, from an employer point of view, it's always good that they keep close contact with their co-workers at a personal level. Okay, my last topic for today would be sleep. Okay, so please do not be sleep deprived. It's not just about getting the sufficient hours of sleep. A good quality sleep is also very important. Okay, so this is a table telling you, illustrating on the recommended hours of sleep based on age group. So an adult would ideally need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Okay, so tips of getting a good night's sleep. Okay, make sure, just like how I mentioned, you have a time for work. Even your sleep time should be also fixed roughly. Okay, set up a time where you go to bed and also wake up in the morning. Okay, avoid daytime naps as far as possible, but if you really need to, you can keep it short to about 20 minutes. Avoid watching TV using your phone, your laptops while in bed. Okay, so again, the light from the laptop or these gadgets may actually impair the hormone melatonin, which actually is important for a good night's sleep. Okay, making sure your bedroom is dark, quiet, and comfortable. Avoiding alcohol, smoking. If you were to need a cup of coffee, make sure it's taken much earlier, ideally before 5 p.m. Okay, so always have a light meal and make sure it's done a few hours before you actually go to bed. Okay, you may indulge in some light exercise before bed, example yoga, and make sure your bed is purely for sleep and sex and not as a workplace, a workstation, or place for you to just keep in touch with your colleagues via your phone. Okay, my last slide for today would be just an image of someone, as you can see, seems to not have a ideal workstation. He seems to be working from the couch in probably the living area. As a result, he has to actually stoop his neck, head below, and look at the PC. So with prolonged posture like this, he may end up with a musculoskeletal pain. Okay, and seems like the table height is also of not a proper measurement. He also seems to be using his workstation for his meal as well. Okay, so all these are unhealthy practices, like I mentioned earlier, and try to avoid them.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Alishna, for the informative talk just now. We will move ahead and take some time for the question. So, so we move on to the first question. Is from Jukamate. Hi, doctor. What are the effects of junk food?
Okay. So junk food has many adverse effects on your body. Okay, what is the nutritional value in junk food? It actually has a lot of unhealthy fat, mainly saturated and trans fat. It's most of the time has a high sugar and salt content and high calorie as well. Okay, so again, what's the adverse effects? You may end up putting on weight easily, leading to obesity or being overweight. You may be at risk of various chronic diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, and so on and so forth. You may be at risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and various other conditions. Um, it also high sugar content can also affect your health of your teeth itself, leading to decay and erosions. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
so
pretty much.
obviously the junk food actually has lots of the bad effect towards our health. So it's the time for us to try reduce or even avoid the junk food from our usual diet. Alright, so we move on to the next question here. Okay, so this question we might need the attention from the employers. How can an employer contribute to the well-being of their employees in terms of health during this pandemic time?
Okay. So employers actually can play a key role in assisting their employees in coping better during this time. Okay, so a number of steps can be taken. Okay, so example, the HRs, the human resource departments of these corporate sectors can actually organize online activities for your fellow employees, be it in the form of group workouts. Okay, organize health talks by healthcare professionals to remind them of the importance of keeping healthy always. Okay, also they can organize some well-being challenges, for example some weight loss programs, and then give the relevant incentives to their employers. Okay, it's also important for employers to identify those high risk groups. Okay, those employees that have trouble coping with stress or feel lonely easily, and offer them help accordingly. Okay, so that would be, and then as I mentioned earlier in one of my slides, it's always important as far as possible to set up a ergonomically sound home office, and perhaps your employer also can play a role to assist in this.
Mhm. Yeah, thanks, Dr. Alishna, for the suggestions provided. So the next question yeah, is from Ashwa. What happens when one stops exercising for just 2 weeks, Dr. Alishna?
Okay, so the impact of stopping exercise for just a short span of 2 weeks is actually vast. Okay, it can have an impact on your muscle. You may start losing muscle mass, accumulate more body fats, and as a result, put on weight. Okay, this can be more pronounced, especially so if you're not looking into your dietary pattern as well. Okay, in terms of high performance, who are into high performance workouts, their speed, endurance, and strength can be decreased by about 25 to 30% in just nearly 2 to 3 weeks of not exercising. Okay, so it was said that actually with 1 to 2 months of no exercise, their staminas can actually reduce to pre-exercise levels. Okay, so just over a month, and you need to start all over again to build your stamina. Okay, so these are the effects of not exercising for a short period of time. So a reminder, we are really not sure how long this pandemic is going to go on. It's already been more than a year. Please do something to start exercising, even in the home-based environment.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Alishna, for the detailed explanation. So actually, we can see, as mentioned by Dr. Alishna, there are lots of the benefits for being physically active. So try to make sure, for those who are already physically active, try to maintain your current status. And for those who are now having a sedentary lifestyle, try to make sure you start exercising by today. Okay, so we move on to the last question for today. Is taking large amount of fruit juices considered a healthy choice?
Okay, the word large amount definitely not a healthy choice. You should limit yourself to about 1 cup or two at the most of fruit juice per day. What is the reason behind it? Fruit juices also has natural sugars in it. Again, when consumed in large amounts, you don't want to have a sudden spike in your sugar levels and long-term consequences as a result. Okay. Also remember fruit juices have just the juice being extracted, the fiber is already been removed. So you actually lose out on the benefits of taking fiber in it. So again, you're probably better off taking the fruit itself or the juice in a form of another form, example a smoothie, because a smoothie actually has your fiber as well in it.
Yeah, so actually it's a good idea to go for a no added sugar kind of the drinks. But don't forget, actually inside fruit juices there is some sugar in terms of the fructose. So as a dietitian, I always ask my patient to go through the nutrition label on the packaging to see how much of the sugar content for the respective kind of the drinks. So in short, we will still encourage you all to take the drinks in terms of like plain water or like non-sugary drinks to stay hydrated. Okay, so finally, we have come to the end of our talk today. I'd like to say thanks again to Dr. Alishna for delivering such inspirational talk today. And last but not least, thank you everyone for participating us in today's Facebook Live talk. For those questions that are yet to answer, don't worry, Dr. Alishna will get back to you shortly with relevant answers. Right. Thank you again for everyone for your attention, and hopefully everyone can be beneficial from the talk today. We hope to see you all again next time.